Hello, everyone. Welcome to Africa TV, the leading point of Africa where arts meets culture. And this is your favorite program, Echoes of Inspiration, where we use storytelling to inspire you and make you know your potentials. So I am Rebecca Olatunji, your host for today, and I would like to appreciate the producer of this program, the person of Afolabi Adenikeku, and the chief executive producer, the person of Dikun Michael Adeboye Ashaolu. So thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. The story we've been looking at is Unspoken Love, and the previous episode we talked about a mother sacrifice. So today we'll be talking about Seed of Promises. So come with us today as we dive into the aspect of storytelling. The town's marketplace was teeming with activity as usual. A bustling cacophony of voices, laughter, and the occasional shout from vendors calling to potential customers. In the middle of it all stood Adana. Her hand worked quickly as she served plates of steaming yam porridge to customers. Her head wrapped in faded scarf, her eyes alight with focus and purpose. But today she had a companion by her side, which is Gideon. Gideon, now a young boy of 9, stood close to her, handling plates and managing small change with intensity beyond his years. The years had passed quickly. Gideon, with his bright eyes and quiet strength, had gone into our shadow, absorbing her hard work and resilience and becoming the greatest source of our pride. From an early age, he had shown signs of deep empathy and maturity, understanding that life was built on his mother's unyielding sacrifices. Whenever he could, he would help her at the store, picking up small tasks to ease her workload. His hands now used to the labor that kept them both fed. "Here you go, Mama," Gideon said, handing her a customer's change with a small proud smile. Adama looked down at her son, her heart swelling with love, growing too quickly, too mature for his age. And while she appreciated his help, she sometimes wished he could enjoy the carefree days of childhood. But like her, he seemed determined to carry their shared burden. "Thank you, Gideon. You've been a big help today," she said, gushing a stray hair from his face. He smiled, his eyes shining with the pride of our face. In the afternoon, after they closed the store, Adana would walk with Gideon to the small school she had managed to enroll in. It was the modest building with peeling paint and creaking doors, but to Gideon, it was a place of learning, a place where he could step into a world of possibilities. Education had always been a dream for Adana, something she had once hoped for herself, but was now determined to give to our son, who, however, brought its own challenges. Gideon quickly proved to be the brightest and eager to learn student, and his teacher often praised his curiosity and potential. But with each report of his progress, it was a reminder of the cost of fees, books, uniforms, and expenses that weighed heavily on Adana's heart and daily earnings. One evening, as Gideon worked on his lesson by the dim light of their oil lamp, Adana watched him, her face a mixture of pride and worry. She knew that with each step Gideon took forward in school, the final demands would only increase. Yet she refused to let these worries cloud her son's future. To her, Gideon worth every sacrifice she could make. To stretch her earnings, Adana began working even earlier. Adana began waking even earlier, preparing larger quantities of foods, and taking on more customers. She had gone without meals some days just to save enough for his fees. She even accepted help from other vendors who offered her leftover ingredients. Each day was a marathon of endurance, but whenever she saw Gideon's eager face and heard his tales of school, her resolve strengthened. Gideon, in his innocence, sensed his mother's sacrifice, though he didn't understand the full weight of them. He saw her tired eyes, her hands rubbed from years of cooking, and her unrelenting dedication to him. One afternoon, as he helped her pack up the store, he asked, "Mama, why do you work so hard for me?" Adana paused, surprised by the question. She knelt to meet his eyes, brushing a hand over his cheek. "Because Gideon, you are my dream. My whole life, I have wanted nothing more than to see you grow and thrive. You have so much ahead of you, and I want to help you reach it." Gideon looked at her, his young face serious. "I promise, Mama, I won't let you down. I will work hard and make you proud." Adana smiled, her heart swelling with pride and a bitter ache. "You already do, my son, every single day." The day turns into months, and Gideon continued to excel. His teacher took note of his dedication and even gave him extra materials to encourage his love of learning. Adana found a renewed hope that all her sacrifices would lead to something greater than she had ever imagined. When he proudly brought home his schoolwork, each page filled with the belief that he would one day break free of the hardship that had bound her. One day, his teacher approached Adana after school. "Mrs. Adana," she began, using a respectful title that touched Adana's heart. "Gideon is a bright child full of potential. I believe that he could achieve great things with the right support." Adana nodded, feeling both pride and the familiar pang of worry. She knew she was often a matter of resource she didn't have, yet she managed, determined not to let her fears show. "Thank you, I will do everything I can to support him," she replied. But as the school years continued, the financial strain grew heavier. There were nights Adana would awake early, wondering how she would manage it all. The thought of pulling Gideon out of school haunted her, a possibility that filled her with a deep sense of dread. Her health, too, began to falter. The long hours and unrelated works were taking too much. She tried to hide it for Gideon. One day, as she prepared food in the early morning hours, she felt a wave of dizziness overcome her. She clung to the edge of the pot, her mind racing with worry. She couldn't afford to fall ill because of his love for Gideon. She felt a surge of strength rise within her when she thought of Gideon. For him, she would push forward. For him, she would never give up. So here is the end of today's episode, and the keyword for this is promise. Through every challenge, Adana holds on to the promise of a better future for Gideon, believing that all her efforts and sacrifices will eventually lead to his success. Promises become both their motivation, and we can see how this helped Adama to stay strong. Adana stood strong all throughout her journey. So this is the end of today's episode, and I would like to appreciate the viewers, and I would like you to anticipate the next episode. So I remain Rebecca Olatunji, and this is Africa Edge TV. Thanks for watching.